Welcome to the last busy webinar of 2015, and we're happy to have you here to look back at 2015, what's happened in the past few months here, and all through the year in online marketing, specific trends and details on what you needed to know about what happened this past year, and then also 2016. We're going to take a look into our crystal ball here, see what we can predict and think about for the upcoming 2016 in online marketing. There's a lot of cool stuff that's happened and a lot of exciting stuff up ahead, so I'd love to get right into it with you today. All right, first we're going to go through a few things, how to join us on Google for a Q&A. So if you'd like to ask us questions about anything that you hear today, that's how you're going to be able to do that with us. And then we're going to talk a little bit about BusyWeb, of course, 2015 in marketing. We're going to look at the top trends in online marketing and then the top tech updates as well. And then we're going to talk about 2016. What's coming up and what I think you need to know about and be prepared for as a small business in online marketing. All right, so before we get into details about us and who we are and what we do, you're probably going to want to ask some questions during today's event. So I'm going to switch screens over and show you how you can join us on the Busy webinar today. First, if you got an email and you subscribed up to this, you're probably on this page. If you're not on that page, you can go to Events under the BusyWeb homepage and go to the events calendar and click on today's event. If you would like to join us and ask questions live, you can stream live from here, but in order to ask questions, you need to go right where I'm highlighting right now on the Google Plus link. So you need to go into Google Plus. The good news with Google Plus Hangouts is that you no longer need to have a Google ID. All you need to do is enter in your email address and they will let you into the Hangout to watch live. So if you're watching live, and you want to ask us questions, you simply click on this big blue link under number 1. When you do that, it opens up a new window, and you'll notice right here that it says Q&A and live. If you're watching this as a recording after the event, you'll not see the live button, but you will see Q&A, and you can click on the play button to go into the event, and then I'm going to click pause right here, but it starts playing automatically. And then you can ask a question by clicking on the green button that says Ask a New Question. So if you click the Ask a New Question button, you can ask a question here or offer your thoughts on 2015 and what's coming in 16. So if you'd like to do any of those things, we'd love to hear your predictions for marketing, what you thought was the most important tech and online marketing news for 2015 and what you think might be coming. So we'd love to have you interact with us on this. We have a bunch of viewers already today, so we'd love to have you join us inside the conversation. And it's as easy as that. Again, to go through it one more time, in order to join the Hangout live and ask us questions, you simply click on this blue highlighted link right here to view it in our Google Plus page. If you click that, it's going to open up this window, and you'll get asked for an email address if you're not logged into Google, but you just click the green Ask a New Question button as soon as you do that. Very simple, very easy, and we'd love to have you with us. All right, so that's our agenda. We're going to get right into, first, a little bit about BusyWeb, who we are. We're founded in 1999 and based out of Champlin, Minnesota, which is a suburb of Minneapolis. We're just about 15 minutes out of downtown Minneapolis, and our team of 14 serves clients all over the world. Specifically, we are an online marketing agency, so we take care of everything, soup to nuts, for your business. If you have a business that needs help with online marketing, and especially if you're considering hiring someone to handle your online marketing, we hope you'll talk to us because we can help you from designing a website to building your email marketing, doing your Google AdWords to Facebook ads, writing content for you, helping out with web hosting, whatever you need, BusyWeb can help you. And our tagline, Generate Buzz Without Getting Stung, very much signifies the way we operate with our clients. We help you get the results that you're looking for without locking you into anything that you don't need. And we're very, very collaborative and helpful at every step of the way when we're either building a website for you or helping you out with any online marketing, period. We hope to work with you very soon if we're not already. And for the folks that are working with us, thank you for a fantastic 2015. Let's look at 2015 in online marketing then. First, I'm going to cover all of the big stuff and I'm going to give a little bit of extra feedback as we go through this. So as you think of the biggest things, or as I thought of the biggest things that happened this year, as far as what we knew, what changed, what updated, this really has kind of been the year of everything going mobile. Google in particular put the hammer down on April 21st, and they stopped displaying non-responsive websites in mobile search results. What that means is if your website is not mobile responsive, everything got complicated for you. What happens if you don't have a website that's mobile responsive? And to do a quick check, you can either run the test at google.com/webmasters/tools mobile friendly, or just Google the Google mobile responsive test, and it'll pop right up. Or you can open up your computer and open up the browser window and try to squish that window as skinny as possible. If that window, and when it's squished down to as skinny as possible, just cuts off on the side, your website is not mobile responsive. Another very easy way to check to see if your website is mobile responsive is to simply open it up on a phone, and if you have to pinch and zoom to read things, and if you see the entire website on one screen instead of seeing like one column across, so that you don't have to pinch and zoom and click and scroll all over the place, then your website is not mobile responsive. A properly responsive website will allow you to basically reconfigure the display port on your screen in tech geek speak, but it basically makes the website look like it should on a mobile device. Everything's a little bit bigger. There's not as much scrolling. There's probably an easy to click phone number where you can just tap the phone number and your phone will automatically dial. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it, but really, if you don't have a mobile responsive website, even if you rank well for specific keyword terms on PCs, you're not showing up in mobile results with a non-responsive website. That's as strong and as clear as Google has ever been in their direction on how to optimize your website for better results. And it's a big deal. So if you haven't thought about mobile responsive, and in general, if your website is more than 3 years old and the last redesign was more than 3 years ago, your website probably is not mobile responsive, and it's time to look at an update. We do have mobile responsive update packages available if you need those. But really, everything has gone mobile this year. As a matter of fact, about 60 to 70% of all searches on the web originate on mobile devices now. So you're missing out on all that traffic if your website's not mobile responsive. And if you design your website, most of the time when we design websites for our clients now, we're at a very minimum designing for both environments. And a lot of times we're designing mobile first to think about what happens on the mobile environment, on your mobile tablet or on your phone, before we think about how the layout needs to look on the actual website. You need to be thinking about this, and you need to also think about mobile not only from a device standpoint and what it looks like, but you need to think about what people expect in the context of where they're searching. And by that I mean, if you are searching for something on a mobile device, you're probably likely to be away from your computer or away from your office. So for retail folks, it probably means that the person that's doing the searching is much closer physically to them than normal. And so you want to make sure that your directions are more prominent and the phone number to call is more prominent. You need to think about context as much as content and delivery. So when you're thinking about that, just again, think about what that optimum experience is. We have a lengthy web design conversation that we make with every single client. And as a matter of fact, we don't use templated websites at all. What we do is we build fully custom websites now so that the content and the delivery of that website is completely custom to the needs of our clients. So if you're not thinking about that, make sure to take a few moments and consider the ramifications of mobile design. Another thing that was big this year is drones have gone mainstream. You've probably seen your neighbor flying around in your backyard or something, and DJI in particular, has made tremendous inroads. Seems like everyone's talking about or goofing around with drones. Those are those little four-rotor helicopter thingies that you see flying about, or certainly that people are talking about. What you can do with drones is really quite amazing. So, in particular, if you're in real estate or if you have a product or a service that could benefit from dynamic and high vantage point photography, the drones that are out there, they're shooting full 4K video now, and they can pull all kinds of amazing things. Especially in video production, it's very easy to get a really cool bird's eye shot of almost anything. But you need to be careful. When you're flying as a consumer, your top height is 400 feet as mandated by the FAA. And if your drone is over half a pound, it needs to be registered with the FAA. And you can go to faa.gov to register, and you need to do that by February 19th of 2016. Otherwise, you could be subject to criminal penalties for having an unregistered drone. So if you got a drone for Christmas, or if you're thinking about getting one, or if you've received one in the past and you've been tinkering around with it, you now need to register, and the registration needs to be physically stuck onto that device. What that's for is if they spot it, or if it crashes, or if something happens, they need to know how to get a hold of you and how to check to make sure that you were using it legally. So great tips and great information is available at knowbeforeyoufly.org. So make sure to check that out. Lots of fantastic tools. A great drone, a DJI Phantom 3 can be had for $1,200, and a lower resolution version of that can be had for half that. So it's really getting quite affordable, and it's a new and dynamic method. One other note, I did mention at the beginning of the webinar, or at the beginning of this slide, that realtors could use this for dynamic shots of their homes. You need to check with the FAA and check knowbeforeyoufly.org for the specific details in your area on what you can do in the real estate market, because you may have to register separately or with a commercial license if you plan to use that. And BusyWeb does have some great connections that have those proper accreditation or credentials in order to run the aerial photography for real estate in particular. It gets a little thorny. Make sure you do your homework before you start using those and offering them. All right, next up in trends, Apple continues to kind of dominate certainly the profits in the mobile device market, but also it's the most profitable company in the world. I make no bones that I'm an Apple fan, but regardless of what you're thinking, regardless of your predilection toward a specific device kind, watching where Apple goes is a pretty good indicator of where the rest of the world is going to lean in the near future. So for Apple, of course, with the Apple Watch, Apple has gone wearable. And so the devices that you're seeing with the Apple Watch being able to monitor your heartbeats, do it using HealthKit to monitor and track different things, instead of using incredibly expensive sensors for education and health reasons, you can now just strap an Apple Watch on and have it monitor your vital signs and tie in with other things, to the more simple, not needing to grab your phone out of your pocket all the time when you take a call or when you're glancing at things and running different interactions. We're only starting to see the very, very beginning of mobile and wearable technology. I'd say in the next few years, we're going to see these devices become smaller, better, more ubiquitous. And really the things that are happening inside of this space, whether it be the Pebble Watch, some of the Android Wear devices, and certainly the Apple Watch, we're going to see a lot of inventive and interesting things happening in the very near future. Apple Watch 2 is probably going to come out in the next 6 months or so. and who knows what's going to be involved in that particular device. My official recommendation, if you're interested in picking up an Apple Watch, is to go with the cheapest version possible, because you're probably going to want to update them. And the Apple Watch, and certainly the Apple Watch Edition, which retails for $10,000 to $15,000, is going to be outdated within the next 6 months. There may be an update or a technology swap that you'll be able to do with those tools or with those watches, but we really won't know until the next upgrade cycle hits. Also, with the introduction of Apple Watches, Apple Pay has kind of come to the forefront. They announced Apple Pay as part of their earlier in the year announcements, and Apple Pay has really changed and given a lot of credence and boost as far as public adoption to mobile payments, non-credit card payments. With an Apple Pay, or with Apple Pay and an Apple Watch, for example, you can simply double tap on that side button that's not the circle one, the elongated button. If you double tap on that elongated button, you can activate a secure device module that doesn't share anything other than the authorization to charge your credit card on file with the devices. So with all the security breaches that we've seen in the past few months, credit card machines getting scammed, credit card numbers and all that, using a mobile payment tool like Apple Pay is going to be much more secure, much quicker, frankly. You don't even need to whip out your credit card. You can just double tap and hold your phone, your tablet, or your watch up to the mobile device reader, and your account is automatically charged. Very simple, very easy, very secure. With mobile pay on the phone, for example, you need to use your thumbprint to identify. With Apple Watches, you need to have the device attached to your wrist, and it locks every time you take it off your wrist. So if someone lifts your watch, they wouldn't be able to use that for any sort of payment processing. And then other companies are getting into the same game. Google has been working for a long time on payments with Google Android payments and Android-enabled payment options. They've been doing that for a few years now, but it really hasn't gotten any traction until now with the introduction of Apple Pay. Now everyone's excited about it. Now Walmart is coming out with a payment processing tool. In Answer, Target is looking at coming out with a payment processing option. The credit card companies are coming out with mobile payments so that you don't have to use credit cards. We're really going to start seeing the disappearing of the physical card in lieu of an electronic device that can actually read and keep your information much more secure, and simply authorizing the transaction at the transaction level versus sharing your personal information. And especially in the US, if you think about how credit card transactions are applied, whether it's online, which tends to be more secure, or physically handing your card to someone, to a server at a restaurant, and having them walk away. In Europe and a number of other places, it's not physically, or it's not legal to have a credit card leave the control of the diner. And so you see that, in Europe in particular, you hand over your card, they swipe it in front of you, and they hand it right back to you. In the US, it's kind of insane, where you just give your card away, and then the server and whoever just walks away with it. And they could very easily have a card skimmer or something else. But now you have the ability to just wave your phone or wave your watch at a reader, and you're all set. Everything is going to change as far as mobile payments, and you're going to be able to see that in micropayments and in easy to connect and access ways. Apple News, and in particular, I'm going to talk about this in a few other slides, other subscription-based content, is making it easier to literally subscribe to only the information that you're interested in versus having to browse and read different sites. A number of folks have, or a number of companies have used RSS-enabled devices for a long time. I'm one of them. For the last 5 or 6 years, I've used an RSS reader. My current reader is called Feedly, and I love that tool, and I use it on all of my devices. You can now browse just the information that you're looking for and get an easy to read feed without all the other heavy crap that's on websites. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit as well with the ad blocking movement and what that's going to do as far as what's coming for businesses and what that means to you. But with ad blocking, really, panic has set in for advertisers. iOS 9 now allows ad blocking, and for a massive sliver of the market, for a massive portion of that market, people can now simply turn off ads. And that was the way people made money on the web until now. As a business owner, you probably are relying on Google Ads, for example, to target your exact clients. You need to be careful of that, because if your device or if your ad campaign relies on embedded content, for example, in retargeting your advertisements so that you see an advertisement in different websites, that's going to get trickier as ad blocking tools start messing with all of the algorithms and all of the stuff. Now, it's good news in general for users that ad blocking tools are coming out and that are making life easier. If you visited BuzzFeed or any of the major news networks recently, Engadget, Mashable, all of those places, especially if you're browsing on a mobile device, it's incredibly infuriating how slow web pages load. They're heavy, they burn up a lot of data. They take 30, 40 seconds up to a minute to load a single page. And a lot of times content will continue to load and it'll bump you up and down. So if you've been reading part of a article, you're going to get scrolled back to the top and have to find your place again. And that might happen 3 or 4 times. Ad blocking tools remove all of the extra crud that's embedded in a website and allow you to just browse the content you're looking for. Now, of course, yes, people are getting paid for those advertisements, and a lot of, especially the content delivery networks, have argued that it's akin to stealing to block ads on websites because you're getting the content for free and there's no such thing as a free lunch. What the advertising industry now needs to do is figure out ways to make their ads less intrusive, less annoying, and less regardless, and less active in their disregard of the user when they are delivering their ads. This is a natural progression, and the ad blocking movement is very much a user experience movement. People don't care about seeing ads, and they're all for seeing ads and are okay with having to go through a step or two in order to get the content that they love. But you shouldn't make the browsing experience near to impossible on a mobile device in particular in order to see it. When you activate an ad blocking tool, your browsing goes up by 30, your browsing speed increases by as much as 30 to 40%. And in fact, one website that I've seen has gone from 48 seconds to load a single page to when an ad blocking tool is enabled, it goes down to less than a second to deliver the content that you're looking for. It's an incredible difference between user experience and the way the web sort of works right now. And again, I'm going to talk about this in 2016 trends as to what that really means for us in as far as marketers and businesses trying to use online marketing to reach our clients. But ad blocking is definitely something you need to be wary of as well. And finally, for Apple trends, Apple TV has now come up with an app-friendly interface that opens the TV up to apps and games. So all of those fun mobile games that you had on your iPhone, a lot of them have come up with Apple TV-friendly versions so that you can browse at your device, at your screen. What we're really seeing with the new Apple TV is a merge between iOS and the TV environment. So instead of needing to have a phone with you at all times so that you could browse and search and play apps and Google things, you can now do the same functions right from your TV. The old Apple TV was great, don't get me wrong. You could browse all kinds of stuff and watch streaming content, and it was neat and it was cheap. But the new Apple TV especially with Siri and the way that it's built in, and Siri is the search tool. You simply say what you're looking for, and the Apple TV knows what you're looking for and can provide recommendations, all the way down to finding your favorite actor and finding only movies when your favorite actor was doing something specific or acting with another specific actor. And you just say, "Hey Siri," and then it opens up and it connects. And as a matter of fact, when I said that on my phone, Apple or Siri popped up on my phone just now because I said those words and started a search. You'll be able to talk to your devices and get the information that you're looking for without having to open up an app, open up an interface. Another great example of that is the Amazon Echo, where you really aren't going to need to open up a piece of plastic and glass in order to get the information that you're looking for. The voice world of search is coming up, and it's going to be really interesting to see how much more integrated technology is going to be with our lives. I'm convinced that we are not going to have conversations, or the conversations that we have with our kids right now, where we can say, "I remember the world before the internet." Our kids are going to have the same conversation and say, "I remember the world before you could just talk to anything that you wanted to." So it's getting very interesting and pretty fun as to what's coming up. Another big trend in 2015, security breaches. VTech, the kids camera tool or the kids camera company. Ashley Madison, the adults kind of toy thing, right? To FBI's portal, to CVS, Walgreens, Target, you name it, there's a good chance that you were affected by some sort of hack. There's some tools online that you can search to see if your information was specifically exposed to data hacks this year. But in general, the number in total, I believe, is right around 85% of people that interact. And of course, the more active you are online, the more likely that number is. Your data, your information has been likely exposed in some sort of a data hack this year. What that means to you is that you need to change your passwords. If you haven't changed your passwords this year, or if you haven't changed any information, and certainly if you have one password in more than one place, change those passwords everywhere. A tool like 1Password, it's like $40 to get 1Password set up and connected on every device you own, will allow you to create completely unique and very secure passwords for every single website that you visit, for every item that you need to control or have access to. And then they have access, or then you have access to that data on your phone, on your computer, on your watch, if you have an Apple Watch or a Pebble Watch or an Android Wear. You can see that information personally in a secured fashion without having to worry about tracking and managing all of those crazy passwords. Another really important thing to consider is for all of those incredibly secure things that you do, like your mobile banking or anything that involves some sort of transaction, wherever possible, use two-factor authentication, which usually revolves around sending a text or sending some sort of a message that you can verify elsewise to a different device in order to double the security of your devices. Apple passwords have gone to two-factor authentication now, and it's very simple and easy to activate. Can be a little bit frustrating because you'll get a lot of notices and things if you have a lot of devices like I do, but it's absolutely worth it to lock down your browsing experience and the data that you share with the world in order to keep hackers at bay. You know, people keep getting better at it, and everything is getting crazier as we look at data security. What that means for you as a business owner is, again, make sure that your passwords are very secure. If you house or hold any customer information, make sure that you're keeping that data very, very secure and locking it down on some sort of a secure tool. There's a lot of password tools out there, from LastPass to KeepPass, which is an open source and free tool. Use those tools and search for the reviews on those tools before you sign up for them. You want to make sure that you're using a tool that's reputable. I do like 1Password for that. The Internet of Things is coming up and has really kind of come of age. There are tools now, particularly the Nest suite of products, which is owned by Google, but you can have your Nest thermostat talk to your Nest camera, and your Nest camera would see if something's happening in your house, and if as soon as it senses the presence of you, it could warm up your house or cool it down in the summer months. You can also have it set up so that when you get close to your house, your living room lights turn on. Or when you run out of milk, your fridge could add to your Amazon account to get 1-hour delivery set up so that things would just magically arrive for you. This is the year that this really kind of came to the consciousness of the world. We've been talking about Internet of Things in the geek world for quite a while, but now people are starting to get it. Amazon started shipping little buttons that you could push that you could just keep next to your laundry detergent. And as soon as you were out of laundry detergent, you'd push the button and it automatically buzzes Amazon and sends you via Amazon Prime a new bucket of laundry detergent as soon as you need it. Very interesting, and it's going to be really interesting to see how all of these tools start working together to make our lives easier and to make those data predictions kind of smarter. In particular, if you own a business or if you work with companies or tools that might be complementary to what you do, start thinking about how your tools might work together with other tools that are available. There's internet standards now on the Internet of Things. Connected equipment, whether it be Arduino or other tools, allow all of these tools to talk together. Start thinking about how your tool might work with something that even a competitor might offer that you could share and connect with. So the idea that Philips Hue lights could automatically turn on as soon as you go from home or go from away on your Nest thermostat to home, or as soon as the smoke detector that Nest has, the Nest Sense, as soon as that goes off, it could turn on the lights in the house and expand that. There's all kinds of networks and interesting things that are coming, and to start thinking about so that you can take advantage of those tools as well. The fight for privacy was a big thing this year, and CISA, the Cybersecurity Information Sharing Act, did go into effect on the 15th of this month. You know, there's arguments on both sides on whether that's a good thing or not. In general, you want to keep things as secure and private as possible, and I'm very much of the opinion that data shouldn't be shared with anyone regardless of what's happening. So the Department of Justice makes arguments all the time that good hackers, or allowing law enforcement to get access to anyone's data they want, is good for national security. Well, that might be right, and it might offer some sort of help if you can get access to what terrorists are doing or thinking in advance. The sad fact, though, is that there's no such thing as a secure backdoor. If you offer up a backdoor into your data for the feds, there's an incredibly strong likelihood, I would call it a 99% certainty, that hackers will use that same door. There's just no way to have a only open for specific people backdoor access to content or data. Apple has taken a very strong stand on this. They've gone in front of Senate subcommittees on this stuff, and they just say, you know, our stuff is very secure and we don't even have access to it, so we can't give you access to it. In my opinion, that's the right way to look at data and information security. Yes, there will be issues in the future on that, but there's always going to be issues. And simply opening up and giving up our privacy to the rest of the world, to hackers on whatever they want, is probably not the answer. So internet backdoors, information requests that are being made public from Apple, Google, Verizon, and more data transparency on when the Department of Justice is asking for this kind of stuff. If you follow that, it's pretty alarming as to the types and kinds of information. And you might think that, yes, I'm not a bad guy or a bad girl, so why should I care if the Department of Justice has access to my data? Well, it's not just them, because if they have access, anybody could have access, and hackers can very easily get into and control your information, and it's very easy to lose information, and specifically bank account information, or get hacked and have someone assume your identity and steal your money if you're not if your data is insecure. And making data less secure is never a good option. For a business, make sure that you're careful how your data is shared and who might want it. And in my opinion, again, protect your customers' privacy at all costs. Your mileage may vary. I'm not going to tell you exactly what to do. If you're interested, there's a lot of great information on this at the EFF, the Electronic Frontier Foundation, where it tells kind of what the deal is and how realistically data information can affect all of you and all of us. I talked about it a little bit before, but ad blocking. Apple implemented ad blocking in iOS 9, and apps like AdBlocker, Crystal, and a few others can stop all the crud that clogs up major news sites. It's a major revenue driver for content on sites, but we've let the fox control the hen house for too long. What we need to do now is come up with ways to share and to present advertising and revenue generation models to companies that don't frustrate or outright disregard the user experience in favor of the almighty click. And clicks, by the way, are not necessarily a great option for your browsing and for an indicator of success. For a lot of our clients, when we look at our BuzzBuilders online marketing tools, advertising is interesting and it can be helpful in A/B testing and or driving specific content for specific things at specific times, but it's not the only game in town. Having a way to click or connect, there's a lot better ways to actually gauge things like actions and conversions and specific things. Getting a click is not the same thing as closing a sale. So you need to really think back on what you get out of your advertising budget and out of your advertising dollars, and make sure that you're planning accordingly so that you're getting the results that you're looking for, not necessarily just hiring an SEO company to come in and hack. There's a lot of hacks out there in the search engine optimization world. I get clients that shop against us all the time, and there are outright liars out there in the world that just say, you know, we do this or we do that, and this is important and this is not. In general, if a company tells you that they can get you to the top of search results for anything, that's a good indication that you should run away from that provider. There's a lot more to it than top line results. You know, there's a lot of companies out there that will guarantee specific clicks or specific types of things, but then they just narrow their focus until they get the least common denominator of the actual intended result. Online marketing is much more complicated and in-depth than that, and you have to look at the entire ecosystem of what you're doing. So the trick and the key with all of this ad blocking stuff is to be smart and not get carried away with tricks and watching how your content is displayed on networks. Retargeting, it can be a brilliant tool where if a browser visits something or searches for something, they'll start seeing that content on every website they visit that's in that network. But again, you have to be careful with the tools and not over rely on them, because they might not show up for clients that have ads blocked on their devices. This is going to continue to get more complicated as we move forward, and advertising and blocking gets to be more content agnostic. The key thing is be as useful as possible to the people that you need to reach. Offer them deals and specials and advertising that specifically speaks to their needs, and the rest of it sort of falls into place. It's overly simplistic, and different use cases vary. We use advertising for about 30% of everything we do in our Buzz Builders programs, and I believe in it very much, but it is not the only game in town, and so you need to treat it as such. Enough on my soapbox. Let's get into news apps. Another trend that we're seeing here, again, with Apple News, Twitter Moments, Facebook trending topics, it's easier than ever to subscribe to your favorite information and stay in the loop. This has always been available via tools like Feedly or FeedBurner or Google, the Google Reader when it was still around, and that went away over a year ago. But those tools now make it super simple to disconnect the content that people are reading from the websites that they're visiting. I can browse, and I do browse, about 75 to 80 websites every single day, and I download and connect with the content. That seems excessive until you realize that takes me about 15 minutes a day via my Feedly feed. I get a feed or an RSS feed of all of the new updates that have been made to all of those websites, and I can look at it, download it, connect, and see what's happening at a glance. And then I can either disregard or skip over the headlines and move on to the next. What that means for content and for website owners and marketers is that you need to make sure that your content is shareable. An HTML page that doesn't have RSS feeds enabled in them, WordPress is brilliant as an RSS tool, and that's the tool that we use. But use RSS feeds, hashtags, and proper SEO to get the content out on your website as much as possible. As well, make sure that content has the proper context to get people back to your website and to get them to take the action you're asking for. Every bit of content that you provide to the web should not only be helpful, useful, and easy to index, but it needs to include a relevant call to action inside the text of that article so that no matter where people read it, whether it's in Apple News, in Twitter Moments, or on Facebook, they get to the action that you're looking for them to use. And that's an easy and seemingly forgotten way to keep in front of people. Content is still king. It still makes all the difference. And speaking of something that makes a lot of difference, email still rules. It's the one way that everyone can get in front of their clients on a regular basis. Again, I'm not talking about spam, and I'm not talking about buying lists and putting all kinds of stuff out there. Instead, you really need to be as thoughtful and connecting with people to know what they're looking for from you and to deliver to them the content that's relevant to them in a way that respects their time. We've talked about email marketing a lot, and we're going to talk about it again a lot in the future, because keeping in front of people with the right information that they are looking for at the right time is still one of the best ways to interact and engage with people that matter most. Integration with other bases makes it very easy for when you update your website to have that content go out on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Google+, Tumblr, Pinterest, and more. But that also can go into your email marketing so that you're broadcasting a consistent message to the people that matter most. Mobile responsive also needs to be taken into account in emails, because 30% of people that see an email, actually 70% of people that see an email that's not mobile responsive will delete that email. And 30% of those folks, if they see an email that looks terrible on their device, will out and out unsubscribe from that email marketing list. Again, you're not respecting your user, and you kind of deserve to get banned if you're not being savvy. You need to keep up with times and trends. If you have an email template newsletter and you haven't updated it in the past year, you need to be looking at that, because you need to respect your users with your mobile content. As far as Busy Web news, we have a lot of wonderful things that happened this year. We had 4 new employees: Trygve, Kyle on our sales team, Jenna on our content team, and Tanya in our accounting and bookkeeping team. have all been fantastic assets, and thank you folks for joining us. We love to have all 4 of you with us. We've got a fantastic team, and then we're all ready and interested to help you in 2016. And we really launched and got into BuzzBuilders full time. Online marketing is now more than half of what we do as a business. We used to be a web design firm. Now we are a digital marketing agency. If you need help and if you need content for your website, we are a one-stop shop, your online marketing department, all in one spot. We got into Traction and EOS. If you're not familiar with that, it's a great tool. Just Google Traction. There's a lot of really helpful stuff. If you're a business with more than $1 million in revenue and you have more than 10 people on your company, you really should look at that. And we acquired a company, Technic Creative, and thank you to all the Technic clients. They've been a fantastic community for us to be integrated with. So we love having the Technic folks around and hanging out with us. All right, so let's talk about 2016 and the year ahead. In general, here's what I think is going to be happening. Email is going to continue to get even bigger. Mobile is going to take a front seat inside of email marketing. And if you're not doing, again, mobile responsive emails, and if you're not thinking about the time and the place that people are looking at their messages, as well as just the formatting, it's time to think about that, because especially with millennials and digital natives, people expect that you respect their content, their time, and they have less and less patience for people that just don't get marketing. If you're sending out one message to everyone and expecting them to browse through a 7-page long email, for example, you're doing it wrong. And people won't interact with that. They won't engage. And as I mentioned, 30% of folks will out and out unsubscribe from your email if you're not building it in a mobile responsive, respectful way. Adapting to mobile is just no longer optional. Customers expect more. They expect that you understand where they are and what they're expecting from you with every interaction. We just need to think about context as much as content now, and give them the right tools at the right time to help them take the next step. Once you understand who your customers are and how they interact with your information, that makes it much easier for you to be helpful. Marketing is not about sell, sell, sell. It's about help, help, help. The more you can help your clients get the information that they need efficiently, fast, and get to that decision point inside of 10 seconds of visiting any of your content, the better you're going to be and the more successful you're going to be in your marketing. And again, social integration with the web and email, all-in-one tools really allow you to cover more ground and keep your customers engaged. If you focus on the right content and then broadcast that content to the right networks, you can take the time that you save by broadcasting to those places and then do a little bit more in each tool. I've never advocated, and I do not advocate, that you just publish on your website and leave that be. But you can publish on your website, let your website publish to all of your social networks and your email marketing, and then take the time that you would save and interact with people on Facebook. Retweet content, share information, send out a special news and information update via your email marketing. And you can see what people click on inside of those markets. And so if you have a special, you can send or connect with just the people that clicked on that special offer that you offered to get them across the finish line and help them buy from you. It needs to be respectful of who they are and what they're looking for. As well, advertising does get bigger for small businesses. Facebook EdgeRank has dropped through the floor. You can no longer guess or bet on having a Facebook page and having it help your business all by itself. If you post updates to your Facebook feed, if you have 1,000 fans on your page, you used to be able to bet on 300 to 400 people visiting and seeing that content. Now it's more like 30 or 40. You need to use some sort of advertising in order to get a leg up on your competition. The good news inside of that is that you can be very targeted and only reach the people that actually could benefit from that special, that promotion, that content, and drive that content to them. That also means that your marketing budgets, your advertising budgets can be much smaller. If you're trying to reach the entire world, it's very expensive. If you're only trying to reach electricians in Lino Lakes that also enjoy butterfly collecting, that makes it a $50 buy to reach every single one. The more specific you can be, the better off you're going to be. And you can use that to test, to measure, and to make sure that your content only reaches the people that could actually benefit from it, and that you're reaching them at exactly the right time. So advertising gets much bigger for businesses. Trends and news are going to make content more important than ever. Unless you're thinking about your content strategy, you need to take a look at what you're doing to reach people with helpful and informative information. It doesn't need to be overwhelming. All you need to do is connect with people with what you know that they're looking for and deliver content that answers their questions. Podcasting is going to pick up steam. I'm going to be launching the Buzzcast in 2016. It's what people are using now to connect up and digest. Instead of listening to radio shows, people are listening to podcasts now. It's just kind of the de rigueur of what people are doing and what they're interested in. So if you've seen podcasts or if you've heard podcasts before, it's going to continue to get better. In iOS 9, for example, Apple dramatically improved their podcasting app, and there's a lot better ways to get RSS-ified content delivered to your door, to your device, where you can listen to it in your car. Very simple, very easy. And you should think about it if you have a lot of content that you can deliver and if you have time, because it does take a lot of time to put together a good podcast. But I know friends and I have folks that are doing a lot of really amazing content in the podcasting world. It's also a great way for you as a business owner to subscribe and digest complicated information, having interviews with the top people in the world. I love the Tim Ferriss podcast, Ecology with Chuck Ghost if you're in internal communications, Shell Holtz's FIR podcast for immediate release. All brilliant tools if you're into marketing and online communication. And then finally, open and collaborative business models. Set up businesses as partners more than competitors. I talked about the Internet of Things and how things can work together and connect and interconnect. Think about how you can partner with people that aren't in your business or that might be serving your same market, and think about ways that you can dovetail and connect. BusyWeb is going to be having a number of shared podcasts with people that do some of the same things that we do, but slightly differently or with slightly different markets. We're going to be looking at a lot of really interesting content that's delivered to our markets and giving away some of that content and some of that traffic to people that aren't BusyWeb because it's the right thing to do. If you can connect and if you can be the perfect person for your business, you can also open up that world for any of the people that you connect. They're going to do the same thing for you. Look for referral partners in your business, people that know about your customers before you do, and vice versa. If you know about people that you can serve, set up a mutual agreement where you'll own a specific type of business, and they will refer that business to you, and you will in turn refer the business that you don't need or want to them. Make sure that you do that. BusyWeb has done that with a number of clients this year, in particular with design agencies. We've done a lot of web design and online marketing work, and that's been a fantastic tool for us. In exchange, we refer business on branding and some other things that specific types of companies need up the chain to people that can do it better than we can. We are fantastic at WordPress web design and online marketing for small businesses of 500,000 to 50 million, and that's what we do. If you need a WordPress website, we are the folks to go to. If you have a Drupal website or are working in HTML or have some other specific need, we have clients that we refer or partners that we refer for that. So think about that collaborative business model. So that's 2016 and what I think. In summary, remember, BusyWeb does web design, and we can help you with all of these things. If you need a website that's designed to convert visitors into leads and leads into customers, that's what we do. We consolidate all of our content such that when you publish on your website cross-posts to Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Google+, Pinterest, Tumblr, and your email marketing so that you can reach out to the people that matter most to you. If you're on WordPress already and you don't host with us, give us a call because we have fantastic WordPress web hosting that includes backups, security, site speed enhancements, automatic updates of all of your software, and backups, plus all of the stuff that you need. If you need something, you actually talk to real people, and we can walk you through updating your website, changing things, or making specific updates. We have built-in support hours built in. Our online marketing tools through BuzzBuilders are brilliant at helping clients grow their businesses. And if you're thinking about hiring someone into your online marketing department or creating an online marketing department, hire an entire team instead for less than the price of one. We're brilliant at helping you out. We have seasoned professionals, all with 20+ years experience in the marketing world, that can bring that to you. We have a great team of folks that are ready and willing to build you a completely custom strategy designed to help you grow your business and do what you need to do. Every company is different, and we help those companies grow their businesses from step one. Finally, remember to join us every Wednesday. We've got a bunch of really fun stuff coming up. On the 6th, we've got the power of the inbox, how to use email marketing. And then we're going to talk about social media 101 and 102 in the following 2 weeks. And then social media time savers at the end of the month. We've got an in-person seminar on the power of the inbox with SCORE. And then we have an Anoka Area Chamber of Commerce. If you're up in the Northwest Metro, Social 101 and 102 is happening on the 21st. Finally, if you'd like to get more information on how you're doing in your online marketing, I'd encourage you to go to busyweb.com/buzz to request your buzz report. You fill out this 1-question survey. You give us your URL and a keyword that you'd like to be found for when people type into Google, and then we'll tell you how well your website is optimized for that keyword, as well as a bunch of other online marketing metrics. Is your website mobile responsive? Do you have a call to action above the fold? What are you missing? And then we give you a handy checklist that will help you to make those adjustments, or call BusyWeb to help you grow your business. It's not a sales tool. It's simple, it's easy, there's no cost associated with it. It's a service that we offer to help you figure out where you're at in your marketing. And it takes less than 2 minutes. Again, I'm Dave Meyer with BusyWeb. Thank you all so very much for joining us. I did not see any questions today for this. And so, I did see one from Deb. I'm sorry, Deb. SMB is small business. So if you do, if you're looking at marketing, SMBs are for small businesses, and it's just kind of shorthand for that. So thank you all very much for joining us and being part of our community. BusyWeb has gone from about 600 people in our marketing to more than 7,000 now with the folks that we reach on a regular basis. And that's all because of you, and because you've shared our content, and you've shared what we're trying to do. My job at BusyWeb is to help make BusyWeb as useful as possible to the people that matter most, and that's to you. So thank you very much. Cheers to an incredibly successful 2015. I hope you had as wonderful a time as we did, and here's to an even more successful 2016. Finally, remember, at BusyWeb, we help you generate buzz without getting stung. Let's do more in the next year. Have a great week.